Hi, and welcome to The Bright Balloon, a podcast where I'm sharing bright ideas for your balloon business. My name is Sarah Meyer, and I'm a balloon business owner like you, and I love the creative side of what I do, but I really love the business side, which seems to be the part where most people struggle. So I'm here to help. Each week, I'm bringing you an episode full of bite-sized tips you can use to make improvements in your business. I want you to make more money, eliminate stress, and learn along with me as we grow our creative businesses together. Welcome to The Bright Balloon, presented by 17 Hats. Hello and welcome to today's episode. We are chatting with Katy Talley, who is the founder of Bloom Inflatables, and she is one of the guests curated by Kalisan, your monthly curated sponsor. So they have created a lineup of guests that are going to give you tips and tricks for your balloon business, and also a chance to tell their story about how they have grown their unique businesses. And I think you're going to enjoy Katy's interview because her story is not of insane growth. She does not have a team of 50 people and a fleet of vans. She's actually the opposite. She's talking about how she enjoys keeping her business small, how that she's in a season of motherhood right now, that her kids are her top priority, and she has run and grown a successful business out of her home. So lots coming in this interview, but really quickly, let me introduce you to our sponsors, Kalisan. If you haven't tried Kalisan balloons yet, this is the perfect time to get to know their high-quality, durable latex balloons that decorators love, including their brand new Aura color line. Gorgeous modern shades that are perfect for creating stylish, on-trend designs. Plus, Kalisan offers XL bags, making it easier than ever to stock up on large quantities without constantly restocking, and all at a competitive price point. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, Kalisan has the products to help you create beautiful professional designs with ease, and you're going to see a lot more of this brand in the US this year. So stay tuned all month for expert tips, creative techniques, and business strategies, all with the support of Kalisan. So thank you once again to our April curating sponsor, Kalisan. And let's take a quick break and head to the UGlu hotline for some great advice that sticks, and then get into this interview with Katy Talley of Bloom Inflatables. Welcome to the UGlu hotline, where we discuss great advice that sticks. Brought to you by Pro Tapes. If you have a question or some great advice to share, click the link in the show notes to call in and leave a voicemail.
Hi, Sarah. This is Brianna from Glitz and Garlands. I'm located in North New Jersey. I absolutely love your podcast. I listen to it weekly. And one of the tips I wanted to share is that if you have a last-minute client and they're looking for an install and you don't have the balloons available, and maybe you just don't want to pay that extra shipping charge, go onto Amazon and look up Party Woo or House of Party balloons. They are tested and true. They are great balloons. They are not your typical Amazon balloons. They're great quality. They're lasting. They're just like any other good brands out there, and they will ship next day right through Amazon. So that's my biggest tip. I hope you guys do use them and try them out on your own at home. They're absolutely great. And Sarah, thank you again. You guys have a great day. Bye.
Pro Tapes is a leading manufacturer of specialty tape products like Pro Gaff, Pro Artist Tape, and our favorite balloon tape, UGlu, which helps you create amazing balloon arrangements and decorations. You can save on UGlu when you use the promo code PODCAST at checkout when you shop at our friends havinaparty.com. All right, welcome to this episode. Katy, it's so nice to meet you. And you are one of the selected guests for the Kalisan sponsored month, their curated month. So they have chosen you to be one of their representatives, which is exciting. And I'm excited to meet you. I followed you on Instagram for a while, and we're going to talk about boundaries. We're going to talk about growing a business that's sustainable and works for you, and setting those boundaries so you don't burn out. I think that's something we can all relate to. Before we jump in, give us an introduction. Who are you? Where are you? And tell us a little bit about your business.
Hi, everybody. I am Katy. I own Bloom Inflatables, and I am located in sunny California in a little town called Hollister.
Okay. Like named after like the Hollister, like the store from my dreams when I was 15.
Like Abercrombie.
Yeah.
I think that the store probably came from the town. We have a long history. It's a big agriculture town.
How many employees, and what is like the size and structure of your business? Like, are you home based? Is it just you?
It is home based and it is just me. We're looking to grow a lot this year.
Okay.
I shouldn't say it's just me. It's me and my husband. He does have a big somewhat role in all of this. He's my number one supporter. And, we're looking to see how we can scale it and how things are going to change this year. It's exciting. So,
Well, give us a little bit of a rewind. Your history, Bloom Inflatables. Where did the name come from, and when did you start?
I started, let's see, it was in the spring of 2022. So
Okay.
April 2022, it was my daughter's third birthday. And like so many other moms out there, I thought, I want to buy a white bounce house
Okay.
and sell it. She was a COVID baby and we had to cancel her first birthday party and didn't get to do the second. And that's what started this all. We bought a white bounce house and thought, well, hey, our friends are going to want to buy it. And my father-in-law being an insurance agent, my husband is very strategic and like, no, we've got to have all of our I's dotted and our T's crossed. And is that the saying?
I think so.
Yeah, I'm like, I think that's the saying. And so we were really strategic about it, of getting that LLC and getting an insurance policy and covering our bases, and not realizing what telling a few friends and posting one post on a mom group was going to do to the business. And all of a sudden, this huge wide world of the balloon industry and soft play industry just opened up wide. And we were like, oh my gosh, did not know this was here.
Yeah. So you must have been pretty early to the white bounce house scene, because I feel like 2022 they weren't like super popular yet.
They were really hard to find. There were two distinct brands that were promoting the same type of mini 8x8 bounce house. So one was a US based and one was a Canadian based company. And the Canadian based company was able to get the bounce house shipped a lot sooner to us. So
interesting.
It was kind of an impulse buy almost. Like I was scrolling one day, I found it and I said, hey, husband, we can do this. Like, look at this. We can buy it for this, use it multiple times and let our friends rent it for like $100.
Right.
And it's crazy to see how it's grown, to see how the accessibility to them has changed over the past few years.
Are you still, I mean, we'll get to balloons. I'm assuming the balloons came after the bounce house.
Yes, balloons.
But are you still doing the bounce house?
I am not.
Interesting. Okay, so catch us up. So what happened? When did balloons come, and when did the bounce house make its exit?
When I started doing the bounce houses, I was not doing the balloons, and I just decided, I was actually doing a branding shoot one day and getting ready to go meet my photographer. And I was like staring at these balloons I purchased on a whim because somebody said, hey, you could do balloons for my storefront. Like, why don't you try? And I thought, no, like, let's just pull up a YouTube video. Let me see if I can do something with them. And I whipped something out. I don't know how, just in time to make it to the branding photo shoot. And those were my favorite Kalisan macaron salmon. And that was like my very first introduction to the balloon world. And I fell in love with that buttery texture and never looked back. But it was, it all started because this friend was like, no, you can do balloons. Like, I have this storefront, this clothing boutique. Like, come on, like, you can do balloons for my 1-year store anniversary.
Did you just kind of like have the reputation of like the crafty mom, or like the one who could figure it out? Or like, why did she push you to do that?
I had gone in one day. We were new to the community. We had just sold our house in another city and moved there. It was a different city at the time. And I just decided, like, I'm just going to get out. I'm going to go for a stroller walk. I'm going to walk around. And I saw this local business on Instagram and thought, well, hey, I'm just going to go over. Like, she's never going to rent a bounce house for her clothing. Right. Right. But like, I'm going to just go in and shop. And a big part of marketing is just word of mouth. Like, I'm just going to go in and say hi and be like, hey, I'm new to the area and here's my information, and that was just it was really good. We became friends, and she, a few months later, hired me, to do the balloons for her store celebration. I'm not a crafty person, believe it or not. I'm actually not the crafty, artistic kind of person. I'm more of like an engineer kind of
Oh, okay.
minded person. Um, and it was really funny to fumble into this. It was like, I still pinch myself. Is this a reality? Am I really doing this right now? And yeah.
Cool. So then did the balloons become like an add-on, or did you just start liking them better, or what was the demise of the bounce house eventually?
Yeah. So the balloons, I ended up, yeah, I started to really enjoy it. And with the bounce houses, I think kind of like anybody that gets started in them, you don't realize all the work that goes into it, just
Yeah.
like balloons, right? Like lugging them around and setting them up and showing up, and the flat surface that the client claimed to have is an angled sloped surface that you
Yeah.
can't put it on, right? Or the weather changes, or uh no power source, or disruption, like not
No
following
power
the
is a
rules.
huge one. Like I have
Mhm.
marquee letters and like everyone just thinks they're like battery powered, solar
Exactly.
powered. Like I
You
don't
can use a
understand how they
generator.
what you need to plug it in. I'm like, they're literally light bulbs. Like I don't
Yeah.
how did you think this was gonna happen? But yeah, the power source is always one that
Yeah.
catches people off guard.
And we have one bad experience with a generator, and it wasn't our generator, it was the client provided, which, because it was a question I missed. I got there and there was no power source, and they had one. They were like, we can just use ours. And I got back to pick up, and they were like, by the way, it kept deflating the whole time, and the kids would jump on it and it get soft and it come in. I'm like, why didn't you tell me? Like, that's a
Yeah.
safety hazard. And so then we learned really quick, like, we're not even our own generator. Like, we are not going to depend on the client to be like honest and forthcoming about what is currently happening. And we're not going to hire an attendant to be there.
Yeah.
And so it just started to become really like, this is our investment. This is like we bought this one, we used this for personal use, we didn't
Hmm.
buy this just to be a rental. And it just became really evident, like, it was going to be a full-time kind of job, where it
Yeah.
was going to be, for it to run efficiently and effectively, we were going to have the crew and the people to actually be able to do it. And with our kids being so young, we just were not at that place where we wanted to do that. We weren't
Yeah.
ready to invest in a full operation.
Sure.
It just became evident. Like, I have 5 new bounce houses. I had custom ordered through my bounce house vendor, 10 by 10s, and they were on the shipping in the shipping container on their way to me. And we decided, like, we're not going to continue with
Oh
this.
wow. So
So
wait, what did you do when those got here then? Because you had already bought them?
they're in my storage. Yeah.
Oh my
We
gosh,
use, yeah.
really?
Yeah, they're in my storage still. I started to kind of toy with the idea of selling them off.
Okay.
And I had this actually just a few months ago. I was like, okay, I'm really ready to like let go of them. And the person that was going to buy them was so like, I need to have this and this and this in place. Like, I need this kind of contract. I need this. And it was like, whoa, like, I was selling these on the mom group. Like, I was just like, I'm going to take my logo off.
You're just like
Like,
offloading them. Yeah.
yeah, like, here's a balance. Like, I am not going to show you how to run a business. I am not selling a business. I am
Right.
selling.
Yeah, you could sell a business, just make
Yeah.
it like $100,000 sale.
Yeah. I'm like, I am selling a unit, like, right?
Yeah.
Like, that is all I'm doing. And so it just became, there was a lot of just red flags for
Yeah,
us.
yeah, yeah.
And so,
Interesting.
yeah.
Well,
So
I mean, your business now, balloons, it looks like it's booming. I mean, you're doing I mean, full time. Is that your full-time balloons, right?
yeah, pretty much. And so I'm focusing, like I said, I'm focusing on building a community. Came into it as a mom, kind of having a hobby. It was
Mm-hmm.
never meant to be full time. I had actually quit my very part-time job where I was working remotely for 6 hours a week, answering phones from home. And my kids were there, and they were just, like, mommy, and like, I need this, I need that. And I told my employer, like, I can't, in good conscience, like, do this.
Yeah.
It was a public safety type of position, like working with the community. I'm like, I can't answer these phone calls while my kids are screaming in the background.
Yeah.
Like, it's too much. I have to put in my resignation. And a week later, the bounce house came.
Okay.
And there we go. It's all been a snowball effect of it's been a wild ride. It's been amazing and fun. And it's been different for us because I didn't intentionally pursue this.
Yeah.
It's just a door's opened and I've gone through it. And
That's really interesting. Okay, let's take a break, but then let's talk about boundaries because I feel like there's those boundaries we've talked about, in other groups and with other people, like boundaries with clients, which we'll get into. But I also am interested in kind of what you're saying, like boundaries for yourself and your business. Like your goal is not to work 90 hours a week in this balloon business. Your goal is not to not be home for your kids every Saturday and Sunday. And I think that's hard. I think that's a challenge. It's something I struggle with that you're like, oh, I did this so I could be with my kids more, and now I never see them. So I think setting those boundaries for ourselves are maybe the most challenging. So are you cool to talk about that when we come back?
absolutely.
Right. If you haven't checked out Havin A Party yet, now is the time. The great team over at Havin A Party Wholesale carries a huge selection of high-quality balloons and supplies to take your designs to the next level, including Kalisan, this month's sponsor. Plus, they're more than just a supplier. They're committed to education, helping balloon professionals grow their skills and businesses, and investing in our industry, whether that's hosting in-house classes or sponsoring instructors at events. In fact, I'll be teaching for Havin A Party at Float 2026, and I can't wait to highlight their awesome products and service. And here's something extra. Get 5% off orders over $200 using the code podcast at checkout when you shop at havinaparty.com. All right, welcome back. Boundaries. Let's get into it. So let's keep talking about family, kids, and maybe this desire to not have the big business, not work around the clock, not grow the empire. How do you feel about that? And like, is that something that you have to work at, or have you just kind of let your business grow to the size that feels good and then you're not like actively advertising? Like, how do you find that balance?
It's been so hard. And this past year was a big curveball and a big roller coaster of trying to navigate that. And this year started with a game plan and a strategy of, okay, we've had the year of just kind of wandering and figuring out, do we really want to do this? Do we want to shift gears? What do we want,
Right.
as a family? And so, my brand is me. My brand isn't just the services I offer. So I'm actually not taking bookings anymore because I want to focus on helping others grow their businesses. It's being away from the kids, they're only this little for so long. Coming back to it at the end of the day, it's the biggest thing that my husband and I do is put our family first and be okay to adjust and reevaluate. And you don't have to quit something just because it's not working the way it is, right? You can adapt, you can modify a couple of things and make it work for you. So that's what we've done. So, it's a balance between hobby and business. You want it to feel like a hobby, but you want it to have the potential of being a successful business. And so we try to keep the fun of the hobby, but the protocols and the foundation of the business. So in whatever we set ourselves up for, if an opportunity arises to have a full operation, the foundation's there for it.
Okay.
And if it's not in that season of life, if it's just not the right timing, we can dial back and still have it running, have it be little, but have more joy, have more time for family life.
Sure. I like that. I think what are some of those foundations that you would say are built into your business? Because I can think of mine, it's like, my website or, 17 Hats is my booking software, like my CRM. And I like that idea that like whether I'm big or whether I'm small in this particular season, those things can still serve me. It's just because I'm small doesn't mean I'm going back to answering Instagram DMs and word of mouth. Like you can have it both ways and still stay small.
Yeah, you can. And that's the thing that I think a lot of people don't realize. There's this huge drive to be an influencer, and you don't have to be an influencer to have a very successful business. You can have 800 followers and be a thriving local
Oh
business.
yeah,
And
100%.
that's something that, like, with my subscribers, I'm trying to reason with these awesome people. Like, don't stress about boosting ads and trying to be like, like when you see the same trending videos that have gone viral, everybody's trying to go viral, everybody's trying to be relevant. And it's like, that's not what, if your goal is to bring in extra money for your family and have a supplement income, don't worry about that. Because that takes, very few people get a decent size of monetization from their presence on
Yeah.
social media.
Yeah.
It's not where the money's at. If your goal is to be bringing in that extra income, focus on your local brand awareness. Basically,
Yeah.
who knows about you? That's what helped me grow, is that I focused on my brand awareness, and I focused on I got into community events and things like youth sports and youth after school type activities and theater with plays. And I mean, so many different things, right?
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
helped me practice my skill while also putting my name out there.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
but
it is. I think, I think that's one of the boundaries I really set for myself this year, and that is the social media. And I kind of am in two worlds. Like I have two Instagrams, I have two kind of businesses. I have the podcast side, but I have the balloon side. And in both of those areas, it is easy to get caught up in like, I need to grow my Instagram, I need to go
yeah,
viral, but like when I actually sit down and look at my game plan for the year, it's like, well, I am going to bring in more money from this plan. And
mm-hmm.
social media isn't really part of it. Or like one of my big things this year is really focusing on repeat bookings. And like none of those people go to my Instagram. Like they email me directly. They text me. Like they've already worked
Yeah.
with me. So they're not discovering me on Instagram. So like to put
Mm-hmm.
so much time, even though like it's shiny, it's sexy, it's like the exciting part to showing off all your work, but you can totally just go down these rabbit holes for literally no reason. Or, when you
Yeah.
think of like how hard it is to make $1,000 from being an influencer versus how
Mm-hmm.
hard it is to sell $1,000 worth of balloons, like for me,
Oh my
it's
God.
clear.
Yeah.
It's clear which one's easier.
Yeah. Well, and that's what's been so hard for me this year, is that one thing I started doing early on that I just absolutely loved, I discovered that I could do grab and goes. And I wish more people understood you can build an entire business on grab and goes.
Hmm.
But it requires like fierce boundaries, right? Like
Yes.
you have to be able to say, no, I do not do that. This is not meant to supplement my skills or services for on-site installations. Like, no, I cannot do 3 backdrops with all of that for you. I can do this, and it can be somewhat like what you want and fit in your budget, but please understand it is not the same type of service. It's like the economy option.
Yeah.
And so you have to be really clear about what you're providing to the client. And then I mean, it's another one of those things. You have to learn what to communicate to them. And like, here's the expectations. Like, this is how we do pickups, and this is how we select colors and how we price for it. And it's almost like a grab and go menu for food somewhere. Like, it's not like come pick and choose. And
Right. I always compare our business to fast food places. It's like
yeah,
you don't like there's a menu and there's a
yeah,
price, and maybe yeah, you can leave off the onions, but you're not just going to go in and be like, so what do you make here? Like,
yeah,
what, tell me
right,
all the things that you make here at Burger King. It's
yeah,
like, no man, here's the menu, what do you
yeah.
want? Like, we got to start somewhere.
Like, this is what we do. Yeah. And that's the other thing too with boundaries is niching down. Like, people, it is so, when I first started, it was so hard to not say no. Like, sorry, I don't offer that. Like, we talk about how there's room for all of us, right? Like the local people shouldn't be our competitors. They should be our community and our friends in the balloon industry. And I think that we're all so busy just saying, oh, yeah, I can do that. Oh, yeah, I can go buy that and I can make this happen. But why not work together as a community? Like, oh, she has that wall already. I know I can rent it from her. Or, I don't do the stacks and I don't do the balloon arches for like graduations or business openings, but so and so is really skilled at those. And that is her, like, she is the person to go to for that. And, if you want organic work, I'm the person to go to for that. And so, that's something that I think it's important to also like recognize what's around you and lean into that and be able to it's good to want to learn new skills and learn new things, and it's totally okay to offer the same thing that somebody else is offering, but I think it needs to be something that you enjoy. Like I struggle with classic balloon design. I can do it, no problem. I don't like to do it. I don't enjoy it. It doesn't fill my cup. It doesn't make me stand back and be like, I am so proud of the artistry in that, and it's been really hard. And especially in this new year and having these new goals and having to choose to not take bookings so I can, it doesn't mean that it's forever. I do hope that someday I will get back to bookings. But for the season that I'm in, I'm trying to build a whole new, like, I'm rebranding. Let's say that, I'm not building a new business, but I'm trying to pivot and, you got to be flexible, but I think that, people, sorry, I'm getting off a tangent here, but people, I think you just have to remember, like, it's okay. Like if you want to just do grab and goes, it's okay. Get really good at your skill, try new things, but like, be honest with yourself. Is this what I want to be doing? I'm taking time away from my family. I'm taking time away from myself, right? I did not spend any time last year on myself and I'm paying for it. I just started back up at the gym because self-care is so important. I put myself on the back burner and, I'm taking that back into consideration.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I find that like, I'm okay with boundaries with customers. Like I'm okay at saying no. Sometimes you say yes and then you're like, wow, why did I do that? But I feel like for me the hardest boundaries are to follow are the ones I set with myself. It's like, oh, I'm booked this weekend, and then you get another job. You're like, well, I could squeeze one more in, and like that's where I really struggle and I feel myself going towards burnout. It's when I don't follow my own rules, and my husband calls me on it. He's like, you gotta follow the rules. He even knows. I'm like, I'm never doing this again. I should never have done this. And, rah, rah, rah. And he knows like when I break my own rules. He's like, maybe you should like write these down and then not do those things. And I'm like, it's not that easy, but like it can be. It's just it's hard to say no when someone's like beating down your door trying to give you money. But like it's gotten easier. I'm 10 years in now, and I'm just now having the confidence to just be like, you know what? This inquiry is full of red flags. We're gonna let it go. Like it takes a lot of work to let jobs go that could have been money, like you just and hope that something else comes for that date. So I always find like one of the things I did this year, actually I have it hanging up in my office for my goal setting. It's like a list of things I'm not going to do this year. And I've probably done half of them already. Like, I don't need to work on my website. Well, I just updated it the other day. Like, I do not need to introduce any new products. And I'm like, well, I really want to put crazy towers. So it's like, I'm not perfect, but I am trying to set those boundaries for myself because I am my number one cause for burnout, honestly.
Yeah. 100%. No. And I completely agree. And I admire that. I'm like, wow, I need to do that. Like organization is really something that I need to prioritize this year because I honestly, I'm at that season of life with my kids. Like I write something down and they erase it or they scribble on it. And it's chaos. Like we're just in chaos over here. And I was so burned out last year. I just put my foot down. I'm like, no, we're going to go back to the foundation and we're going to fix this. Let's just say we have this house of balloons that we've built and feels like it's just constantly going to crumble from some aspect.
Balloon prison. I talk about that all the time. You build yourself a little prison made out of balloons and you're like, I hate my life. I hate my job. This is a nightmare. And then
you're not going to fix the foundation of a house by replacing all the doors.
Yeah.
Right? Like, or repainting it. Like you need like, and that's where I'm at. I'm like, okay, we've been trying to patch this and this is not working. Like shut it down, rebuild, and be very like disciplined.
Oh, that's
like,
interesting. Yeah, I have gone through a similar season as well. Like I actually kind of like thrive in the chaos. Like I love scrappy beginnings. I'm like, yes, I love building something
yeah,
new and like build it as you go and figure it out. And but then you get to a point, yeah, where you're like, why am I still figuring it out 10 years in? Like this should not be
right.
this way. So I would say the last year, Leah, I spent a lot of time and energy on like process and organization and getting not so much training, but like figuring out a system that works for me and my employee. So it's not like more work for me. And like it doesn't just happen accidentally. It's like you have to set the time aside and you have to be really
Yeah.
vigilant. Otherwise you get, did I say vigilant? Diligent. Yeah, otherwise you get halfway through the project and then you stop and then you have to
Yeah.
start again and you get halfway through again and then you stop. So it is really hard and it's always
Yeah.
evolving. And then things change and you have to redo things that used to work that no longer
Yeah.
do.
Yep, exactly. And, this year, another big one for me is accepting help. Like
Mm,
maybe it is time, I've really resisted hiring employees and looking because of all the legal considerations, right? Like, am I ready to invest in this next growth spurt of the company?
yeah.
And doing it the right, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it the right way.
Yeah,
There's
you
no
have
question
to.
about, right? And so it's intimidating and it's scary, but I'm learning, no, if I want this to grow the way I hope it will, I've got to start leaning on people of even if it's just little tasks. It's
Hmm.
time to start, you know, budgeting for that and investing in it and making the time to look at like what's happening in my operational processes where I could delegate this out to somebody.
Hmm.
So,
And I mean, I think even that's a boundary in a roundabout way. Like you're not going to do something the risky way or the illegal way.
yeah,
Like it's
yeah,
like you're either not going to do it or you need to figure out all the stuff that quite frankly sucks. I've gone through it
yeah,
the last 2 years and it's like, yeah, I did. I took the step to get an actual employee, which meant doing paperwork and getting her on payroll. And all of a sudden, I had to get workman's comp, was $1,000 a year. And she worked 1 day last year and then
ugh,
had to go, and then she was out on sick leave. So it's just like, cool, $1,000 for
yeah,
literally nothing, So it is that kind of teeter totter of like, when is it worth it and when is it not, but
yeah,
it's hard. It's like growth is really, really hard. And I think it's totally okay to not choose that. Like I think there is
yeah.
this mentality of like grow, 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 but it is okay if you're just going to stay a solopreneur. And I mean, you can make like an extra 50 grand doing it by yourself
Oh,
pretty comfortably. It's
I
when you
did.
get into the 100, 200, it gets hard. Once you
Yeah,
scale at all, then it's like, okay, well now I'm miserable. I don't want to
yeah.
do this anymore.
That's what the husbands are for, right? In 2023, I had 30 bookings between on-site and grab and goes for graduation season in a 10-day period.
Oof.
And I was like, I mean, I ran myself ragged. I
Yeah,
was like,
yeah.
what is happening? And then the next day we went on vacation.
Yeah.
That's why it wasn't 45, but it's like, it's hard. Like you can do it. Like you can run a really successful business as a solopreneur, but
Yeah, it's not
the
sustainable to
burnout
go at
comes
that
and
speed. But I
yeah.
think if you're good at setting those boundaries for yourself, actually, I'll recommend a book that I read. It's called Company of One, and it's
Oh,
it's advocating for solopreneurs. It's basically like this is an okay path to take. Like you do
yeah.
not have to scale. And he talked about how like it wouldn't work as well for us, but I think the guy who wrote the book is a graphic designer and he was like,
Okay.
I try to get this much work a year. And when I hit it, I don't take any more work. Like I hit my quota and then I just like
Yeah.
don't work the rest of the year. He's like, so if I hit it in the first 3 months of the year, I'm like done. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, I don't know that I could do that. I feel like I would feel
Well,
guilty. But that again, that's just a boundary and it's maintaining it. It all comes down to just us doing the thing we
yeah.
said.
Well, and I think that's what something like I recognize is that it's so hard for us to say no, right? And like in design or concept, but then when it comes to bookings. Like, okay, I've got an $800 gig booked this weekend, but somebody's coming in with a $3,500 job. What do I do? Do I try to balance both, or do I say no to it? Do I try to drag my best friend in to do it this way? And, or, you know, it's really complicated and it's hard. And, you know, I don't really have an answer for like, how do you do that?
No,
It's
I don't
hard
think
to turn
anyone
away.
does. It's super hard.
You can't really turn away $3,500. Like
No,
that's
yeah.
incredible, right? But that's where that foundation and those strategies and those considerations come in of like, okay, how am I going to do this? Like,
Right.
I can do this, but I have to be really calculated about
Mm-hmm.
how we're going to get it done. But you know, I think you have to have those boundaries for yourself, right? Like, okay, if a huge job like that comes in, sounds great. But what if it's just another $800 job? Like, is it worth it for my sanity to
Right.
make that, like, of course we want that extra $800, but really have to like weigh it out. Is it really going to be worth it?
So I'm
You
going to
know,
put you on the spot here. We didn't talk about this in advance, but I'm curious what some of those like boundaries, just like those intangible things are that you would either say yes or no to the $800 job. Because for me, as I've gotten older and my kids have gotten older,
yeah.
well, not even older, like they were born. I have a baby, you know, she's one. So it's like that was a huge factor. But like some of the things where if I'm on the fence, it's like staying local is huge for me. If it's like
Oh
in
yeah.
my town, if I can be like there and back in an hour, that's so much less mental stress than driving an hour to the city, then an hour back, and then an hour again for takedown and an hour back. So like local and you know, distance from my home
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
huge. And then also like is it standard? Is it standard colors and a standard item and something that like I can make in my sleep? So those are kind of the two things that I really, really prioritize because that, I mean, it doesn't really matter the size of the job if it fits those two things. Like I can do
Right.
20 columns a block away from my house much easier than I can do a, you know, $10,000 sculpture an hour away. Like, you know, it's not
Yeah.
necessarily dollars. It's always
Yeah.
like it's all those other factors. So I'm curious what some of those factors are just in your season of life that you
Yeah.
kind of weigh in.
Big considerations. You're so right. Location. I am not going to travel where we are, our area. It would take me 2 hours in traffic
Oh
to
yeah,
get
right.
40 miles, right? And I'm like, I'm not going there, you know? And I'm like, I'm going to stay here. So if it's popping down the street, great. The other thing is it indoor or outdoor? Because
Oh,
if
that's
it's
a good one.
indoor, if it is outdoor, do you have the ability? I could come set it up inside and you could carry it outside, like doing like a lightweight frame and a slip cover. I don't use the slip covers, you know, from Amazon. I use the more industrial ones. So they look more like a solid wall. But that was my thing is I can either do a grab and go or I can come and drop it off on a Friday night and then come out the next day, or I mean, you know, go the next day for my other job.
Yeah.
So looking at like where can I tweak things to make this work? But I did those like, oh sure, I'll take this on, and trying to scramble from one booking to the next booking, but then you have to go home because you need this, or there's just something, or you don't have room in the car, you have to go back and get the other one, and then something goes wrong, you know. Total tangent, but there was one booking where we had to use our cargo trailer to transport the balloons to the site, and my dad, bless his sweet soul, put a lock on the hitch, not knowing we were going to use the trailer
Oh
for that
no.
job. And we had to do 4 trips across town to get everything there because we could not get the lock off of
Oh
the
my
trailer.
gosh.
So these things you can plan and have all your ducks in a row, and some curveball just hits you, you
That's
know?
why I think for me
And
being local, it's like everything can be solved pretty easily if you're
yeah,
10 minutes from your shop. You know,
yeah,
if you're an hour away, like I brought the wrong marquee word once and
yeah,
it was an hour away and it was like this scramble to get it there before the event started and it was so stressful versus I did it once. You know, I brought the wrong birthday number or like something wasn't
yeah,
working or something. And I was like, oh, oopsies. And I just like turned around and went and got it. And I was back in like 10
yeah,
minutes and they didn't even know. So I think whatever those boundaries are that like make you sleep at night, I think
yeah.
those are important to put in place.
Very, very, very important. And also like I think we need to learn to like really trust our gut with an
Hmm.
inquiry and a client, because it's so easy to like you said it, you get a bad inquiry. It's like, I don't know. This is like either high maintenance or this person's a little squirrely or they're not responding to me in a timely manner. And like, yes, they're a paying client, so they don't have to do those things, but it tells me how the conversation and communication is going to go with them. And if there is an issue, it really gives me insight of how this is going to go.
Yeah.
And being able to kind of screen and listen to your gut and see those red flags of not all money is good money.
No, I agree. Well, cool. Let's take our final break and then end on some fun questions.
I love it.
Balloon Pros, if you've been putting off your website because you're too busy inflating, installing, or making magic for your clients, you're not alone. I know so many of you have been stuck between DIYing your site, struggling with templates that don't quite fit, or feeling like a fully custom website is out of reach. That's where Courtney Lynette Creative Co. comes in. Courtney is a web designer who has worked with tons of balloon stylists, and she gets the unique needs of your business. She's created Website in a Day, a streamlined process that gives you a high-end, custom quality website and branding without the stress or high cost. In just one day, you'll walk away with a beautiful, strategic website designed to help you book more clients, showcase your work, and stand out in a crowded market. Plus, branding is included, so your entire online presence looks polished and professional from top to bottom. And because you're a Bright Balloon listener, you can get $100 off your Website in a Day package. Just mention the podcast when you book. Don't wait another season to get your website working for you. Head to CourtneyLynette.com/bright-balloon to learn more, or click the link in the show notes wherever you're listening. All right, welcome back. Our final 3 questions I ask everyone. The first is, where's your favorite place to go on vacation?
Oh my goodness. I am an outdoorsy girl. I want to go somewhere where I don't have cell phone reception. That
Okay.
is like, it hasn't happened in a long time, but mountains, a beach, just somewhere where I'm out in nature, not camping, maybe glamping kind of level, but like, daytime activities. We can go hike or go off-roading or something.
Cool.
Fresh air.
All right, the next question is, what is something you purchased lately that you like? It does not have to be balloon related, like kids products, something you got off TikTok. Just give us shoppers out there something to go check out.
Are you ready for this? This is so lame. I got an Apple Watch.
Oh,
And I love it. It's like the most basic model I could have got, but in, you know, trying to focus on taking care of myself and recovering from a year of living in burnout, I'm like counting my steps. I didn't realize how sedentary I was. As a
yeah.
very active and healthy person, I had no idea how little I was moving and how bad I was
Like
sleeping. I'm
700
like,
steps today.
when it's like, you should stand up, I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, what do you mean I should stand up? Am I not standing all day long? Like, it was very eye-opening, but I'm very excited to be able to like pair it with my earbuds and talk to people or set a reminder or a timer, and like I'm like, you're my new little
Yeah.
assistant.
Oh, I
Like,
love it. That's a nice one. All right. And the last one is a small tip of business advice you would offer to anyone listening.
oh man, there's so many things I could say. I think the biggest one is, I'm going to hybrid it here, is one, just don't quit on something you love. Go back to the drawing pad and reevaluate. If you love it, if there's a way where it fills your cup, keep doing it. You can adjust. You don't have to just walk away from it. You just have to implement new approaches to it. And remember always, I actually told my best friend this yesterday, you are the brand. Your business is the brand and the services, but you are the brand. People are coming to you for you. They love you. They connect with you. They enjoy talking to you and working with you. They enjoy, they keep coming back to you because of what you're offering and the comfort that they feel and the trust that they feel as a client and a consumer with you. You can pivot and change it however you want to, because they're coming back for you.
I love it. Very
So
cool. Well, where can people find you if they'd like to learn more?
they can find me on my Instagram. It's at Bloom Inflatables. And I'm there. I have a growing subscription platform, and I love to connect with people. And the subscription network has been really, really great of meeting people where they are. And I don't focus on just posting like how to and educating. It's more about the connection with my subscribers. So I love when people message me and like, hey, oh my gosh, I need help. Last night I had somebody that got really kind of threatening messages from a client, and she was panicked, and she's very new, but she immediately messaged me and I saw it. And, I was like, okay, wait, this is how we're going to deal with this.
Yeah.
And so whether I used to call it kind of like my balloon 911 area.
Oh, cool.
Like, you can contact me, are you on site and something's falling apart? Hey, message me. It pops up. It's prioritized DM so I can see it. And, if you're from everything of how do I deal with this client? How do I price this? Should I take this job? Do you know where to get this type of backdrop? It's really just, the core of it is the connection and
Cool.
becoming like balloon friends.
That's very cool. Well, great. Well, thank you so much. And thanks to our friends at Kalisan for connecting us and choosing you as one of their curated guests this month. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Kalisan.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you again, and I'll talk to you soon.
Sounds great.
Thanks for listening. As usual, I tried to keep it bright and light. Our presenting sponsor is 17 Hats, the CRM I use to cut the chaos and manage my entire balloon business. From the lead capture form on my website to workflows and email templates, invoicing and grab-and-go garland automated bookings, it's all powered by 17 Hats, the best customer relationship management system for balloon businesses. There's even a 50% off coupon code waiting for you in the show notes wherever you're listening. I'll see you next week in another episode.